Most men walk through life blind to the signals women send, not because they're foolish, because they were never taught to look. And when it comes to married women, the signals become even more complex, more layered, more silent. She won't tell you she's attracted to you. She won't flirt in obvious ways. She won't send late night texts or beg for attention. Instead, she leave behind a trail of micro behaviors so subtle they feel like static in the background unless you know how to tune in. But let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed the way a married woman lingers when you speak, the way her laughter lasts a second too long, like she's not lying at the joke, but at the feeling you give her, or the way her eyes soften when you say something deep, like she's suddenly in a world where she doesn't have to pretend? That's not politeness, that's not coincidence, that's emotional leak. Because when a woman is married, she buries her feelings deep under loyalty, routine, and the weight of doing the right thing, but desire, real femininity. It doesn't follow rules, it leaks, it shows up in her tone and her presence. The pauses between her words. It shows up when she asks you about your dreams and listens like no one else ever has. It shows up when she mentions her husband, but her eyes ask you to say something he never would, and most men miss it, but yeah, won't, because today we're revealing B5. Subtle signals a married woman shows when she's secretly drawn to you, even if she tries to fight. These aren't guesses, these are psychological patterns grounded in how suppressor expresses itself. If you're ready to decode the silent language of family traction, even when it's wrapped in wedding vows and careful smiles, keep watching, because once you learn how to see her signals, you'll never be blind again. Let's get brutally honest. For a moment, in today's world, attraction does follow the clean-cut lines of fairy tales or romantic movies. It's not always about woe single people locking eyes across the room. Sometimes desire brews in the most unexpected places. Sometimes a woman will beers taken with a ring on her finger and a life that looks complete. Find yourself magnetically drawn to a man who awakens something she hasn't felt in years. And here's what most men don't understand: Aria doesn't cancel attraction, it suppresses it, and the more deeply it's buried, the more powerfully it leaks through. Subtle signals that most guys ignore, but high awareness men like you can learn to detect those cues with surgical precision. You see, a married woman will never just say she's into you. That would violate everything she's built: the trust, their routine, the persona she wears. So instead she hints, she signals in code, she flirts in shadows, not spotlights. And what makes this topic so psychologically deep is that sometime even she doesn't consciously know what is doing. Her behavior shifts not because she plans it, but because her subconscious starts craving your presence more than she can admit, even to herself. Maybe she laughs too hard at your jokes. Maybe she touches her necklace when you speak. Maybe her eyes sparkle in conversation, then drop when someone else walks. And each of these is a micro confession, a clue, a breadcrumb on that trail of repressed emotion and feminine longing. But here's the twist: the signals are easy to miss if you're just watching her mouth. You have to watch her silence, her body language, the way she creates excuses to be near you, or how she responds when you leave. These moments carry more truth than 1,000 spoken words. And this is where stoic awareness comes in, because of the man will doesn't react emotionally. The man will observes with calm detachment. These, the one who sees everything, who reads the undercurrent. He feels the shift in energy. This video is not about seduction, it's not about manipulation, it's about insight and the inner strength to recognize when a woman is silently inviting emotional connection. Evan, if society says she shouldn't, in the next few moments will uncover the 5 deeply hidden signs a married woman gives off when she's quietly, emotionally, and even erotically drawn to you. These signs are backed by female psychology, not fantasy. If you've ever wondered, is she being polite, or is there something more, this is the video that will give you clarity. Stay focused. What you're about to learn may change how you see every woman who enters your life. Forever. Sign number 1, her behavior changes in micro moments. You trigger a shift she can't control when A married woman is secretly attracted to you. The very atmosphere around her changes the moment you walk into the room. Most men miss this because they're focused on what she says, but the truth hides in how she changes your tone, her breathing the way. She shifts her weight, touches her wrist, or arranges a necklace she wasn't even thinking about, all become involuntary responsiveness. To your masculine person, she may suddenly become more animated, more playful, or paradoxically quieter and more reflectively. Because your energy enters her emotional space, triggering a ripple effect in her nervous system. This isn't conscious attraction, it's biological and psychological spark she didn't intend but now can't turn off. She might begin fixing her hair when you're near, glancing at you when you're not looking, laughing at things you say that aren't even funny. She might even seem nervous around you, fidgeting over working, or blushing over nothing. These aren't performances, these are slippages in her emotional armor. Stoic men observe this, not with arrogance, not with ego, but with clarity. Because real attraction isn't in the words, it's in the disruption of her self-control sign. Number 2, she shares details that feel personal, but not too personal. When a married woman is drawn to you, she walks a psychological tightrope. She wants to be closer, but she doesn't want to feel like she's crossing a line or risk getting caught emotionally exposed. So what does she do? She starts revealing herself just enough. She tells you stories about her past, mentions her childhood memories, shares her favorite books, movies, or things that made her crib. She opens up about a fear, a passion, or a private frustration and immediately softens it with a laugh or, "I didn't know why I just told you." That these safe disclosures are really just gauging how you'll respond if you lean in and connect deeply without being pushy or needy. Her trust grows, her emotional walls begin to erode, not because she wants an affair, but because you're feminine. Spirit is longing to be felt, not just heard. This kind of emotional vulnerability is attraction in its purest form. A woman won't open up to a man she doesn't feel safe with or curious about when she shares her emotional world with you. It means you've already entered it. Sign number 3, here eye contact breaks the rules, then hides behind them. When a married woman looks at you a little too long, then quickly looks away, or when she pretends not to notice you, but checks your reflection in a window, a mirror, or a glance when she thinks you're not watching, that's not just observation, that's emotional leak. Her eyes are trying to say whether words can't. Prolonged eye contact from a married woman, especially if she doesn't make it a habit with others, is one of the clearest unconscious signs of attraction. But what's even more telling is what happens immediately after. If she laughs nervously, plays with her hands, or suddenly focuses hard on something else, sessions, overcorrecting, trying to regain emotional control, that's how you know it was real. And if she holds that gaze with intensity, softness, or playful challenge, Ashes letting her guard down, intentionalities, not just a look, that's a signal flare, a silent invitation to connect. If you have the strength not to react emotionally, a stoic man never rushes in. Him lets her eyes speak and listens without chasing, because desire is most powerful when it's unspoken and respected. Sign number 4, she subtly compares you to her husband without realizing. A tone of the most overlooked signs is when a married woman begins bringing her husband into the conversation, not to build a wall, but to create contrast. She might say things like, "My husband isn't like that kind of movie, but he always have. He never really listens to me like that. He don't get to talk about these things at home." These statements are not about loyalty, they're about emotional testing. She's opening a window, not wide enough to be seen through by others, but just enough for you to notice. She wants to see, do you offer something deeper, something stronger, something more emotionally grounding than what she already has? And she's not just observant your words, she's absorbing your presence, how you make her feel, how you hold space, how you listen without judgment or need. This kind of contrast is powerful and dangerous, because once she feels emotionally safer with you, then the man sleeps next to her. Attraction shifts from curiosity to emotional dependency. That's a bond most men don't even know they're building until it's too Late sign number 5 finds excuses to linger in your presence and then feels guilty about it. This is the most silent AR and telling sign. A married woman who feels drawn to you will find subtle ways to be around you. Maybe she happens to show up where you are or asks you for help with things she could easily do herself, or walk slower when you're nearby, or starts conversations that don't really need to happen just to keep you talking. But what's more revealing than her desire to be around you is her behavior afterward. She'll act distant or overly formal or even slightly cold. Why? Because her attraction left a trace of guilt. She'll try to reset, to emotionally pull back, to convince herself it's not happening, but it is, and the back and forth is a psychological sign that her boundary shave already blurred. A stoic man doesn't exploit this. He doesn't push or provoke. He simply remains present, strong, centered, because he knows that real power isn't in taking what isn't yours, sits in understanding what others are afraid to admit. When a married woman seeks your presence or assists it, then seeks it again, it means your emotions are now entangled with you, and sometimes that's a more powerful attraction than anything physical. Here's truth most men never realize until it's too late. When a married woman shows subtle signs of attraction, it's not just about you. It's about what you awaken in her. It's about a piece of her that's been quiet for too long. A part of her that's still alive, still vibrant, still searching for a spark that reminds her well she was before the routines, the obligations, the silent emotional disconnect. As a man grounded and stoic presents become more than a temptation. You become a mirror, one that reflects not just her beauty, but her desire to feel alive again. And that's where their power lies. Because attraction, especially from someone who's taken, is really about crossing lines. It's about connection. It's about feeling understood in a world that stopped listening. It's about a man who doesn't try to possess but witnesses, who doesn't seduce but sees, who doesn't chase but stands still powerfully. You don't need to make her yours. You just need to become the kind-off man who makes her question why she feels so drawn to you in the first place. And that, brother, is the essence of silent dominance of grounded masculinity, of living in such a way that women notice you not because of your words, but because of your presence. If this message awakens something in you, if you've started to recognize signs you used to overlook, then it's time to stop playing the game. Like every other man, you aren't made to be average. You were Medato, observe deeper, speak less, radiate more. So here's your next move. Hit that subscribe button, not just for content, but for clarity. Turn on the notification bell, because the next video might reveal something that rewires how you see every woman from this moment forward. And drop a comment below. I choose presence over pressure. Let the world know you're not here to impress. You're here to embody what most men fear true. Masculine stillness. This is thought tiller, where attention isn't through restraint, where women chase what they can't quite define, and where you silently and powerfully become unforgettable. I'll see you in the next video.